Hello everyone. So today we are looking at one of the most important chapters that is there in APM, quality management. This topic was repeatedly tested in the June 2025 attempt, which I appeared in, and almost every question I would say that they had one or the other quality management approach linked to different other topics as well. So I'll be taking you through the nooks and crux of how to face this topic. So role of quality management and performance. One of the most crucial performance indicator is quality. So let's dive into how quality affects performance. There are typically four costs of quality, and we'll be looking at each one of them one by one. Prevention cost. This is the cost of implementing looking improvement program to prevent effects before they occur. So basically, prevention costs include all the costs which a company or an organization incurs to ensure they don't suffer from quality problems, to prevent quality problems. And examples of such costs are customer service, field trials, quality education and training programs for the employees, supplier reviews, investment in improved production equipment to ensure there are no defects or issues. Then we have appraisal costs, the cost of quality inspection and testing, cost of monitoring and inspecting products in terms of specified standards before products are released to the customers. So these are the quality checks that you conduct to ensure it is fit to use. Measurement equipment, inspection and tests, production quality audits, process control, monitoring, test equipment expenses. So whenever we talk about these stuff, these things, you should directly link them to appraisal cost. And whenever you hear about these things, you should directly link them to prevention costs. And you might come across a few cases where they ask you that, oh, the company has invested this much amount of money in appraisal cost, and this is what they're doing, and evaluate. So maybe all the things that they are doing under the heading of appraisal costs might not be right, and they might be some protocols for prevention cost, or might some protocols of external failure cost. So it's very important for you to be able to identify all these four costs. So these two costs are cost of conformance, and the more rigorous the conformance is, the lower will be the cost of non-conformance. Internal failure costs, these are the costs arising from failure to meet quality standard before the product or service reaches the customer. It means when your product fails in these inspection and tests, so then you have to incur these costs. So this include the cost of rework, disposal of defective products, downtime due to quality problems. External failure costs are costs arising from a failure to meet quality standard after the product and service reaches the customers. So these include complaint investigation and processing, warranty claim, cost of lost sales, product recalls, and these are called the costs of non-conformance. So the modern day theorists believe that there is no room for failure, hence spending on cost of conformance is imperative to avoid these costs. What are quality practices? So first, quality practice is total quality management. It is a continuous improvement in activities involving everyone, managers and workers in the organization to improve performance at every level. It is a philosophy of get it right the first time, every time. So basically, they're telling you that there's no room for error and you have to make sure that it is perfect. It recognizes that the cost of bad quality may exceed the cost of good quality. So you can say that the aim is to achieve perfect quality. There's dissatisfaction with status quo. Even if a target of zero defects is not feasible, management and staff should believe it is possible to get it right the next time. Every process has a process owner and every person contributes to improvement. So goods and services from a TQM system will be comparative on cost, um, flexible, delivered in minimum time, backed up by guarantees, and swift customer service. Successful implementation and running of a TQM system requires education and training of all those involved in the producing goods. It could be suppliers, through workforce, to organizations management. And the reason behind this training for TQM approach will be that it produces benefits of reduced wastage, improved products and market position, increased sales, waste elimination, and more content employees and satisfied customers. So in all, you can see that our quality management system is a set of coordinated planning and control activities that should be aligned to organizations' quality objectives and complement organization strategy. So, an effective QMS should minimize the overall cost of quality, improve customer satisfaction due to higher level of quality, improve staff morale and productivity due to involvement in the pride taken and the work done. And what are the performance measures in TQM? Effectiveness, the extent to which the goals are achieved, quality of products or services, quality of goods sold, efficiency, it will compare actual and planned use of resources, such as labor, staff, equipment, and materials. Economy will compare the actual cost of TQM with the planning cost, the cost of prevention, detection, internal failure, and external. So you should remember the three E's of TQM. Another approach is just-in-time quality management. So just-in-time refer to full system of ordering from suppliers which aims to reduce inventory levels to zero. It means you order as you get an order. You don't have to store things. And obviously, this is not suitable for all sorts of businesses. It's only suitable for a business operating in a niche market where they have a few number of large customers. Just-in-time manufacturing, a manufacturing production method that aims to produce the required items at the required quality and quantities needed at the precise time they're required. So what it does is that it eliminates non-value added activities. So value is not added storing their products, and therefore inventory levels should be minimized. The speed of throughput, the speed of production should match the rate at which customers demand the product. Production runs should be shorter with smaller stocks of finished goods. Lower costs. Another objective of GIT is to reduce costs by raising quality and eliminating waste, achieving faster throughput, and minimizing inventory levels. High quality and reliability. So sometimes what happens is that disruptions can cause holdups in the entire system and they must be avoided. The emphasis should be on getting the work right first time. So for this, highly skilled and well trained labor should be used. The machinery should be of high quality. Long-term networks and links should be established with a small number of suppliers who act as collaborative partners in order to ensure a reliable and high quality service and to minimize any stoppages in production. JIT production, a system is driven by the demand of finished products whereby each component of a production line is only produced when needed for the next stage, and matching the release of material closely with the users so that raw material inventory is reduced to near zero levels. So the entire concept is based on the fact that um, batches sizes of one. And traditionally, manufacturing was performed in large batches to reduce the cost of setups. These costs were incurred because it was necessary to set up the machines differently to produce various products. The problem with large batch sizes is that it leads to delays in large inventory. In this just-in-time approach, the aim is to have batch sizes of one by having machines to do not only need to be continually set up for different products, this can be assisted by cell-based manufacturing. And having batch size of only one can also save costs and the producer will be more responsive to changes in customer demand. So this model works only for a few businesses, not all of them, but it's very important for you to have an understanding of this model. Target costing. Now, what is target costing? It involves setting a target cost by subtracting the desired profit from a competitive market price. And it is an approach that starts with the market price of the product. The required profit margin is deducted from this to calculate the target cost. The target cost is then compared to the actual cost, and then you find ways to narrow the gap. So, this target costing is usually used during the design phase of a new product and can also be applied to the service sector industry. What are the steps? A competitive market price is set based on what customers are willing to pay and how much competitors are charging for similar products. Deduct a required profit margin from this price. This gives the target cost, the difference between the estimated cost of the product and the target cost, and identify ways to narrow the gap between the actual cost of the product and target cost. So now what are the benefits or the key features for this target costing? So firstly, it forces a focus on the customer. And successful target costing considers all costs related to production and distribution of products and involves a whole new supply chain. It means working between suppliers and manufacturers to share information and enable cost reductions. Target costing considers the entire life cycle of the product so that costs to the manufacturer are minimized. I'm sorry I couldn't like make another slide for all the advantages, but maybe if you can just note down the points that I'm mentioning, so that would be good enough. Also, target costing is a multidisciplinary approach. It begins very early in development phase of products so that changes are made before the production begins. Now, what are the implications of this method? So, as a matter of fact, target costing is not a pricing model. However, it use implies that old cost plus pricing methods will not be used. Prices will be set based on external factors. This is likely to make the organization more outward-looking and competitive. It is often easier to eliminate cost during the design phase rather than later and during the manufacturing. When identifying methods to reduce cost, management considers the impact these will have on quality of the final product. For performance measurement, target costing may provide a more relevant target than the standard cost. The target is based on the required profit level rather than some engineered cost, which may be arbitrary. So that's the relevance of target costing, and it's a very important topic here. I can also upload a few videos on how to calculate this target cost gap if anybody's interested. Coming to how to narrow the gap. So these are the few methods you can reconsider design to eliminate non-value added activities, reduce the number of components or standardize components used as expensive material, employ a lower grade of staff on production, invest in new technology, but then this conflicts with the overall aim of quality management, right? Outsource elements of the production or support activities, reduce manning levels, or redesign the workflow. So, in performance management, to be very honest, there's no right or wrong answer. It's all based on the fact that how good you are at evaluating the circumstances and the situations and then coming up with a solution. So, if you're giving, okay, these are the ways that you can lower down the target costing. Lower the gap, and then you also mentioned the fact that how this can have an implication on the overall quality, you will be given marks for that. Okay, then there is Kaizen costing. So Kaizen, as you all know, means continuous improvement, is a technique of continually trying to reduce the cost of a product. The three main characteristics of Kaizen costing are setting standards and then continually improving these standards to achieve long-term sustainable improvement, a focus on eliminating waste, improving processes and systems, and improving productivity. Involvement of all employees and all areas of the business. So how do you actually improve the business? So improvements can come from following area of the business. Um, Firstly, target costing can help with I'm sorry, target Kaizen costing can help with elimination of waste. It can eliminate non-value added activities, improvements in production and cycle time. And how is this different from target costing? Is that target costing is used to ascertain the required cost during product's design phase. However, the target cost is simply the starting point for Kaizen costing. Once manufacturing start, actual costs are recorded regularly and a new target is set for the next period based on the first period's actual cost minus target reductions. Compared to standard costing, Kaizen costing can be more challenging. In standard costing, the standard is based on current operating conditions, whereas in Kaizen costing, it is based on more efficient conditions than present. So, guys, we can say that Kaizen costing focuses on producing small incremental cost reductions throughout the production process and through the product life cycle. Six Sigma approach. Okay, so this is a new approach, and this is a very important approach. The aim of this approach is to achieve a reduction in the number of faults that go beyond an accepted tolerance level. It tends to be used for individual processes, and there are two main aims of achieving Six Sigma: to improve customer satisfaction through better quality products and services, and to reduce cost. And you'll also hear a lot of times that Six Sigma quality aims to reduce variation in process output so that there'll be no more than 3.4 defects per million opportunities. And yes, this is used in both manufacturing and service industries. So the Six Sigma approach is known as the DIMEC approach. It means define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. What do we mean by define customer expectations, requirement, problem? This usually the factor what causes customers dissatisfaction. It could be some product quality issue such as number of products that break down within a few weeks, or it could be related to service such as number of delays in receiving a response or query. Measuring existing performance, this typically involves measuring the number of occurrences of the problem identified in stage one. Measurement often consists in sending out customer questionnaires. Analyze the existing process, identify key variables that caused operations to deviate and the root cause of the problem. So, for example, the team is trying to identify the root cause of the problems identifies in step one and two. Improve means generate solutions based on what is identified during the analysis stage and implement them. Priority is given to activities that could deliver the most significant wins first. Corrective measures are taken. And lastly, control. It refers to developing monitoring processes for continued high quality performance. This is concerned with monitoring performance after completing the project to check that expected performance improvement has occurred or not. Now, this is a brief analysis of relationship between cost and quality. So, cost reductions will arise from lower raw material and finished good inventory levels, therefore reduced holding costs, reduced material handling, often reduction in number of supplier and lower administration and communication, guaranteed quality of supply, reduces inspection and rectification costs. Quality improvements will fewer or even single sourcing of suppliers and strengthens the buyer-supplier relationship is like to improve quality, the absence of customer stock holding, the necessity of work regularly and closer with hauliers strengthens the relationship with them. Customers are not faced with traditional problems of having to wait until the supplies inventories are replenished and direct focus on meeting and identifying customer needs. So this is the overall picture of how do cost and cost reductions and quality improvements arise from, because in a lot of questions we'll be suggesting that, oh, these are the ways that you can reduce cost, and oh, these are the ways you can improve quality. So having a basic idea I feel like it could be helpful. And if there are any questions, you can ask, and that's about it. Thank you.